They were the kind of pairing that didn't just light up the screen. They set it on fire. When Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun first stood side by side in front of the cameras, the atmosphere in the studio shifted. Even the crew members, hardened by years of long shoots and sleepless nights, found themselves watching, not just working. Their chemistry was instant, effortless, unscripted, the kind of connection that made dialogue feel like whispers in the dark and glances feel like confessions. It was a dream for viewers. But for some people behind the scenes, that dream was a problem. At first, every director wanted them. Scripts were rewritten just to include the possibility of casting Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun together again. The ratings spoke for themselves. Every scene they touched turned into something fans would replay, analyze, and screenshot for days. But what audiences didn't see was what happened when the cameras stopped rolling. There were rumors of them lingering on set long after filming had wrapped, of private conversations that even the sound crew couldn't fully catch, of inside jokes and knowing smiles that didn't belong to their characters. For a while, directors loved it because it bled into their performances. But slowly, something changed. Other actors began to notice. Some felt overshadowed, even in scenes that were supposed to be about them. Production teams started worrying that the audience's attention was shifting too much toward the pair, making every other plotline feel secondary. And then came the whispers. Not from tabloids this time, but from inside the industry. One assistant director, speaking off the record, once said, "When you have two people like that, the story stops belonging to the script. It starts belonging to them." And in K-drama production, that's a risk. Because while fans might love it, networks want control. The next time they were offered a drama together, negotiations stalled. Officially, it was because of scheduling conflicts. Unofficially, insiders claimed that one of the directors had hesitated, worried that the two stars' personal connection, whatever it truly was, would blur the lines too much. You see, in the K-drama world, relationships between co-stars can be a delicate subject. Fans can be fiercely protective, and public opinion can change overnight. If an on-screen romance starts to feel too real, it can ignite speculation that distracts from the drama itself. And with Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun, it wasn't just speculation, it was a wildfire. Every Instagram post was dissected. Every accidental like, every quote in an interview, every accessory they wore that looked remotely similar, it all became evidence. For the actors, it meant that stepping into another project together would almost guarantee headlines, but not necessarily the kind the production team wanted. Producers feared that no matter what story they tried to tell, the audience would see only one thing: Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun, the couple, real or imagined. Behind closed doors, there were also discussions about professionalism, not because either actor behaved badly, but because their undeniable bond might have been too distracting. Scenes would run longer than scheduled, because the two would improvise subtle moments that weren't in the script. Fans loved those moments. But in a tightly budgeted, tightly timed production schedule, every extra minute costs money. Some crew members admired their commitment to authenticity. Others saw it as a risk to efficiency. Then came the event that truly tipped the scales. It wasn't a scandal. It wasn't even something most fans heard about. It was a press conference for one of their projects. Reporters noticed the way Lee Min-ho looked at Kim Go-eun when she spoke, patient, amused, almost protective. They noticed the way she leaned toward him when she laughed, as if forgetting there were cameras everywhere. Clips from that press conference went viral, not because of what they said, but because of how they looked at each other. The drama they were promoting almost became secondary in the coverage. Instead of headlines about the plot, articles were titled, "Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun's chemistry overshadows press conference." Or, "Are they dating?" Fans think so after today's event. For the production team, that was the warning sign. Casting them together again meant inviting that same storm every single time. It meant risking the story being drowned out by speculation. And for some directors, especially those who wanted complete control over the narrative, that was too high a price. So, slowly, the offers stopped coming. It's not that they refused to work together. By all accounts, both Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun have a deep respect for each other's craft. They've spoken kindly of one another in interviews, and neither has ever dismissed the possibility of another project together. But in an industry where timing, image, and narrative control mean everything, the decision isn't always theirs to make. Ironically, the very thing that made them such a compelling pair, their natural, unforced connection, was the same thing that made directors cautious. Fans still talk about their past projects as if they were moments in history. Some call them the couple that got away. Others believe the industry is simply waiting for the right moment, the right story, to bring them back together. For now, though, the separation has only fueled the mystique. Every time they're spotted at the same event, even from across a crowded room, social media erupts. Every interaction, no matter how brief, becomes a headline. And maybe, just maybe, that's part of the reason directors are holding back. Because the anticipation, the longing to see them together again, keeps their names alive in conversations. It keeps the fan theory spinning. It keeps the mystery alive. So why don't K-drama directors cast Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun together anymore? It's not because they've lost their magic. It's because that magic is too strong, too uncontrollable, too likely to overshadow the story it's placed in. And in the delicate balance between art and business, sometimes the safest choice is to keep two stars apart. But fans know one thing: if the day ever comes when they do share the screen again, it won't just be another drama, it will be an event. Until then, their past moments remain frozen in time, clips replayed endlessly, scenes that still make hearts skip, and a connection that feels just as alive now as it did when the cameras first started rolling. Because some fans aren't just co-stars. They're a story all on their own. If you've ever wished to see them together again, if you believe some screen chemistry is simply meant to be, make sure you subscribe, so you'll be the first to know when the impossible finally happens. And tell us in the comments, do you think keeping them apart makes sense? Or is the industry just afraid of what they might create together?